True or false? This is the dumbest exercise of all time. 55% of the people I polled on Instagram say false, but a third-party dark horse candidate may have thrown off the results. Oh, wow! Post true or false in the comments below, and while you're here, like, share, and subscribe. The broomstick or trunk twist is a classic abs exercise from the golden era of bodybuilding, and with the approval of legends like Arnold and Stallone, it's gotta be good, right? But if you sit a lot, go too fast, or force the range of motion, you will hurt your lower back. In this video, I'll first take you through a spinal readiness test to make sure you don't hurt yourself with this exercise. Then I'll teach you how to bulletproof your back. Then I'll outline regressions and progressions on these spinal twisting exercises. I'll also show you how to unlock endless exercise variations, and be sure to watch all the way till the end for a bonus workout. Most people spend hours of their day seated at their desk, rounded, flexed, compressed, and adding explosive rotation to that can be a recipe for disaster, especially if you're over 35. That's why I highly recommend starting with Cobra hangs before you start doing a lot of spinal twisting. The Cobra hang decompresses your spine, trying to create some space between those discs while you slowly add some rotation. It drives open the hips. It also opens up your shoulders, pretty much offsetting all of the damage of prolonged periods of sitting. But this is where I'd like you to start. If you feel any pain in your lower back here, you're not ready to do this type of twisting. I also like the twisting split squat hang because it helps you focus on where you want to rotate the most at the T-spine or upper back and through the hips. Some lumbar spine or lower back rotation will happen, but it shouldn't be the primary mover. I'm also a big fan of heavy med ball hangs. I'm using a 30-pound medicine ball here, and I'm squeezing it hard between my legs to activate my pelvic floor. And because the pelvis attaches to your lumbar spine or lower back, it dictates your lower back positioning. The added weight of the ball also will help further traction and decompress your spine to take pressure off those discs. And before I show you how to do the broomstick twist safely with perfect form and technique, I highly recommend you click the join button underneath this video or check out the link in the video description for my 28-day hangs challenge. Now look, I don't want to scare you off from this exercise because you should be able to do this pain-free. Unfortunately, sedentary lifestyles, injury histories, and all that comes into play, so we have to be smart about how we do this, but the spine should be able to flex, extend, rotate, inside bend. We have to go step by step to unlock that range of motion. And to be clear, the goal here is not spot reduction. We're not just gonna do this for 10 straight minutes or thousands of reps and expect your love handle fat to go away. You lose fat in a genetically predetermined way. You wanna do full body workouts to lose fat everywhere, and eventually you'll get to these areas as you get leaner and leaner. But this is also a beautiful exercise. Look at the sweep of the shoulders as we twist. You should be able to do this, and I'll show you how right now. One of the most fundamental training principles for this and every other exercise is you must first achieve a pain-free range of motion, unloaded or with light weight, before ever increasing the weight or adding speed of movement. This is how you get hurt. When you don't have the range of motion, you start to force it, you add speed, your body will over-rotate, and you'll put yourself on injured reserve. Here are a few key performance pointers to put you in a position of success. First, toes forward, not out, and then also consider blocking your feet together and squeezing your legs together to create more midline tensioning and add further protection to your lower back. Squeezing your glutes will root you down into the ground and further open up the hips, but I'd still recommend starting in a corner to prevent excessive rotation. The wall is going to stop you from going too far. As you build some confidence and you can go both ways, pain-free, move away from the corner of the wall and try to start doing it full rotation, looking over your shoulder as if checking your blind spots while driving a car. And in fact, you'll notice one side tends to be tighter than the other. If you see here, I can't get as much range of motion twisting towards my right. So what I do is I spend some extra time at the end of my set just doing 5 to 10 additional end range reps, trying to exhale through to build that symmetry. You can also move that stick down to waist level, which will do a couple things. One, this actually is an incredible chest stretch. Hit it up before dips, push-ups, or bench presses. It also brings the lever down so it's less stressful on the spine. You can also take your twists into the side-to-side or frontal plane of movement with the lateral trunk twist. This will stretch and strengthen your adductors or groin, another key area that can contribute to lower back pain. It's also great for any sports, court, field, or ice hockey, where there's a lot of lateral movement, so definitely hit it up in warm-ups. Being able to rotate from a hinged position with your trunk parallel to the floor is one of the ultimate tests of lower back health. We're stretching and strengthening the hamstrings, and we're working on those spinal rotators while stabilizing in that position. This is a key deadlifting warm-up as well. It'll create more gray area to prevent injury just in case you get in a bad position. And don't forget, you can also do some tight rotations where you're not going so far. And now we get into not just using the obliques to rotate, but also to side bend or laterally flex. If you have chronic lower back pain or even worse, arthritis in your lumbar spine, this will be one of the most therapeutic movements you'll ever do, especially going slow and just taking your time, especially at end range, to relax and deeply breathe through your belly to increase the range of motion. Again, you have two types of obliques, internal and external. They twist, they bend. You got to be able to do both. And as you get better and better with this movement, you get that full range. You can add a little more speed of movement too. This also isolates the QL or quadratus lumborum muscle, a very small muscle that can cause big problems. Oftentimes it can spasm on you and lead to a lot of lower back pain and issues. So you want to be able to stretch and strengthen this area, and this will go a long way to bulletproofing your back. Please keep in mind that if you haven't done this movement in a while, if ever, it will suck in the beginning. And also, anytime you do this type of deep stretching, that a good eccentric load, even with a light stick, you will create more muscle soreness than usual. Keep it light and keep it just to a set or two of 10 to 20 repetitions to not overwhelm yourself. If it's still too tough, consider starting with the side lying ball stretch. Either a big medicine ball or stability ball will work well. Just gonna try to wrap your spine over the ball laterally and then create some rotation as well. So this will feed not only the side bending, but also the twisting, and some oblique crunches are a nice way to finish it off. You can auto-correct your form by side bending against the wall. And now the only way you can move is side to side. So it really helps you isolate that movement and prevent the tilting and turning that can get you off track. Now let's get into some variations, and in particular, where I feel the best place to start for beginners is on your belly, creating initially that extension by squeezing the glutes and lifting off the ground. If that's not painful, then start to add the rotations. But if this is tough, you're not ready to do this on your feet. In fact, what I'm showing you now is an awesome ground to stand flow. That's the best way to flow your exercises. You start on the ground where you're least likely to get injured. It's much easier to organize your body, and you kind of go level up to seated, to kneeling, to standing, as we'll show. The seated twists are excellent because you'll stretch those hamstrings, and again, it kind of puts you in that perfect position. And you can also lean back into kind of that Russian twist style to put more tension on the abdominals. You can even do some feet anchored sit-ups. Here I'm doing some decline work, and you just take your normal sit-up, and any point that you want, you can add some twists with or without the stick to really bring in the obliques, the upper mid-back or thoracic spine. This is such a burner. All you need is your body weight for a great workout. My favorite way to do this seated is on a ball, because the ball allows you to kind of get some rolling action to especially enhance the side bending actions. You'll really feel that stretch not only into the trunk, but also deep into those hips. Tall kneeling is the next level up from sitting, and it really helps prep you for the next level, standing. By being on the knees, you can really isolate the movement through the hips and the upper back. Focus on squeezing the glutes, keeping that pelvis squarely ahead, and then again, mix between the twists and the side bends. Split kneeling will stretch the hip flexors and prep you for split squats and lunges. I love this because it really tests your stability. Even though you're on the knee, you will really feel all the muscles around your lower body fight to stabilize. When I used to do heavy barbell squatting, even the slightest turn or twist with the barbell on my back could put me on injured reserve fast. So take a light stick, get into a squat iso hold. You'll strengthen your legs and knees, and again, create more resiliency in the squat shape just in case anything happens. Twisting from a split squat hold is truly next level when it comes to stability and balance, and it will also strengthen the inner and outer thighs too. Keep in mind, a lot of these drills will help you prep for rotational sports like boxing, tennis, and golf. Here I'm in a staggered stance, prepping for a boxing workout by mixing between rotations and side bends, kind of mimicking the placement of my punches. And I love to do this pre-heavy bag work because I get more power with more hip and trunk rotation. And if you're a fan of the sweet science, that side bending work will help you build that peekaboo defense that was popularized by the one and only Iron Mike Tyson, my favorite fighter ever. For extra mobility work, elevate your toes onto a slant board to stretch your calves more. Doing it from the hinge shape will also increase the mobility in the hamstrings. You can also elevate the heels to allow you to get into a deeper, more upright squat shape and put a little more stress in the low quads or VMO. And finally, my personal favorite is the twisting back extension, an ultimate posterior chain exercise, strengthening the glutes, the hamstrings, the lower, middle, and upper back, plus building that spinal rotation to make you an incredible athlete, develop your abs, but also bulletproof the spine. As promised, here's a workout for you using the fantastic 4 main moves we covered, though you can mix between all the stuff we showed. Do 20 reps of each of these movements back to back to back to back. Do a single round as a warm-up. Do up to 3 to 5 full rounds for a complete abs and mobility session I think you'll really enjoy. I appreciate you guys. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and ask me any questions in the comments.